Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live from emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here tonight with Asia and Aaron from Ashland. We're so happy to have you guys on this podcast this evening. How are you guys?
We're good. I kind of feel like you can hear our cat crunching in the background right now, but
love it.
If you can, just ignore it. I'm Asia. I sing and write for the band Ashland.
And Motley Crue. And I'm Aaron, and I play guitar. I don't write. I just play guitar. That's it.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. Oh. I actually don't do anything in life. This is like the first time I haven't been playing guitar in 20 years. It's crazy.
Wow.
That's real wild.
I was going to say, because I'm like, wait, I know you do more because I've seen all of your videos on Instagram of you saying, like, this is how this song is made.
He does so much.
Oh, wow. Oh,
you can't give it up, Brian, this early.
I feel like you gave it up, if I may. I feel like Instagram really outed you by you posting you writing the songs on there.
Oops.
Well, we're here for this episode today because your EP comes out tomorrow. This episode is actually gonna go up on Monday, so like tomorrow was 3 days ago. But also, the EP goes up tomorrow, and if you're here listening to it tonight as we're recording it, Alternative Press already has it available to listen to. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the EP and what's what is it? I don't know. Like, I know what an EP is, but I sound foolish.
It's songs.
Well, yeah. It's a collection of 75 songs spanning over 4 years of I don't know where I'm going with that one. No, it's our, man, how many EPs have we done total? It's our third EP, and it's got 3 songs because, you know, EPs are expensive. 3 songs is the best way to go for us. It is self-titled.
Well, we thought we were just going to start putting singles out from now on, but we decided to do 3 because that was like, we were writing some songs and we had several, like probably like 10 that we were like messing around with, but there were 3 that just like really, really stood out, and they felt like they went together really well, sonically, I guess. And so we chose to just do those 3 songs and
do them as an EP instead of a string of singles.
Yeah.
But it's it definitely sounds different than our last record. It's kind of like a man, what word am I looking for here?
I don't know.
It kind of goes back to like our first EP and record. It's more of like a rock based format instead of like Over the Moon, which is pretty pop.
Yeah, it's kind of like our like our rediscovery album of ourselves, okay. Which is why we chose to make it a self-titled EP.
Yeah, I know in the press release that we had gotten, it kind of said, oh, they went back and, you know, they rose from this, you know, these ashes to like kind of like be reborn. I'm like, wow, that's very poetic. And 2, I'm wondering what was the kind of reasoning for doing that, for going from kind of, you know, a little bit more poppy vibe to getting back into like your roots as like a little bit more of like a rock pop duo.
Honestly, there wasn't a reason for it. There was no like plan or anything. We had a really rough go with our last album cycle, and there was just like a lot happening over the past couple of years. And I don't know if you saw in that article, but we had one of our best friends who also happened to be our producer pass away from cancer. And then we parted ways with our label, and the pandemic hit, and there was just like all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I ended up writing Over the Moon pretty much entirely by myself. And it was a great experience. It was fun. It's something I'm really proud of, but it wasn't Ashland. It wasn't like the sound that we had like built together over the years. And, you know, with all that stuff happening, we were just like, it could have been really easy to just stop writing music altogether. We were like, you know, just not inspired at all, and just really mentally physically, emotionally fatigued. And then we just started writing together again, and I'll let you jump in there because you started writing again.
The pandemic actually, I mean, is awful. It's been like tragic and awful and horrible. But for us, it was kind of like a reset where, as she said, we've been going through a lot, and she ended up writing Over the Moon herself because I just got so caught up in like everything else in being in a band, like planning for touring and social media and like doing all this that I just hadn't written in
and there was just
years.
So much going on.
Yeah, I hadn't written in years, and that's like my favorite thing to do in music. And when the pandemic kind of just shut everything down, we had time to reevaluate what we wanted to do as a band and what felt natural and real to us. And going back to this sound was that.
And it's not like we were like, okay, well, the last album cycle didn't do that well. It wasn't us. Let's go back to our roots. We just started like writing together again. And Aaron was like busting out these like heavy songs, and he kept coming to me and being like, I don't think you're going to like this stuff. It's not that great. We both do that anytime we write something. And
of course.
He showed me, and I was like, this is Ashland. This is what we sound like. This is where we come from. And that just like paved the way for the other songs on the EP, and it's working out nicely. It is what it is.
I've been curious about.
Super long answer to that.
No, it's perfect. It actually like, because I've always been. We've talked with a lot of bands who have written a lot over the last year, because what are you going to do? A, and B, like it seems like the right time to sort of look inward and say like, well, what can I do and what can I create? And I feel like there's a lot of musicians who have really taken the opportunities given. Again, not a lot of opportunities here, and it's really overall negative situation, but there is an opportunity to look inward and like go, well, what do we actually want to create? And I feel like a lot of musicians have been able to really pull something out of like their music and all that in this time.
Yeah.
I think I might have touched on this in a couple of interviews, but something that I think all musicians feel this, like when you are a band or an artist, usually, you like essentially work your like whole life, or like you have so much time to work on your first release. So you have like, it's like who you are and like exactly what you want to do, because you don't have anything going on except making this. And then after that first album, you start touring and doing all this, and you get busy. And I think the music ultimately starts to suffer because of that. Mm-hmm. And with the pandemic, like with touring and everything not happening, I think it gave a lot of musicians time to do that like introspective look and actually focus on just their music, which isn't an opportunity that you usually have. So it's kind of like my way of seeing light in a terrible, terrible situation.
Right. We do not need more pandemics. But
no more pandemics, please.
For us personally, there was so much more going on besides the pandemic. So just that like overwhelming load of just like junk happening. I feel like when you're in those pits in life, when you're like dealing with something that's like really challenging, you automatically look inward and you're like, okay, like, what am I doing with my life? What do I want out of life? Like, what brings me joy? What's the point of all this? And that's kind of what happened with us during that time. And it was awesome to just like rediscover or resurface our sound, and just like the passion and energy that comes with that just like validates what we're putting out right now, this EP. It's like, no matter how it goes over, it's us and we love it. And like, that's all that matters. And I feel like it's so important for musicians to get to that point where it's like, you're doing what you love because you love it and you're passionate about it. All the other shit doesn't matter.
When you were constructing a lot of this album, because you've obviously kind of gotten back down to doing what you guys wanted to do and finding like this new ground, when you were writing, especially your single Misery, what was a lot of that inspiration coming off of from it?
Pretty much all that stuff I told you that we were going through at that time. It was like the perfect time to write music, and because that's how we get all our frustrations out, you know, that's how we express ourselves, and we pour our emotions into our craft, and that's how we're able to, you know, rise above it, I guess. And so yeah, that's where all that inspiration came from. And
yeah,
what better genre to pour that into than rock?
Right. I do feel like it's
um,
the easiest genre to get that out with. I know without having like live shows, sometimes it's like, man, I could really like get into a pit right now. But
that was another thing Aaron brought up. I don't know where we were at, who we were talking to, but he was like, that was one of the differences between Over the Moon and this EP for him, was like hearing me belt again for the first time in a long time. And I didn't even like realize that, because I don't know, I've always been kind of like a ballad, slow, sad song type songwriter, which is why all the songs on Over the Moon sound like that. And I guess I kind of forgot how much I love to belt and just like the energy. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's pretty much what I love most about this new EP, is that I can just like be as loud as I want to be.
So now you know people are definitely going to get in the pits to it.
Yes.
Like, yes, get in there.
They're like, I can yell too, and we can all just yell collectively together without any problems.
Feels good to yell.
Yeah. That'll be the first show back, is everybody just letting out one cathartic scream at one another.
One collective yell.
Yeah. All right.
Whoever's on stage counts down. They're like, all right, guys, 1, 2, 3, yell. Okay, you do whatever the fuck else you want to do now. Goodbye.
That's actually a really good idea. I'm going to like take note of that.
Yeah.
Remember the time we played a show.
Oh my God.
Start the set that way.
Just break the ice from the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm just on stage, right? Just cringing so hard.
It's going to be for the people who are like already freaking out. Like, oh my God, I'm like, I turned into an introvert. I'm like used to being like inside all the time. It's going to be like, all right, guys, this is it. We're all going to get reacquainted with the environment. Don't worry. And it may work. It may scare people. It might do all of it. And that's okay.
I feel like that'd be good for you. Just like, I've never heard Aaron scream or like get really loud. You will on this next record though, because have you guys heard Choose to Live?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you have to. Because on Choose to Live in the chorus, there's that chanty part. It's like, oh, hell no. And it's like a huge, like, chanty background chorus type thing. So, like, it'd be stupid on stage.
Watch me have no part of this.
He's gonna set it up on like a laptop, be like, hit it. No more. That's it. Not me.
That's it. Yeah, right on the mic stand, just a trigger. I just slap it.
Yep. Or just like, you just mutter it into the microphone like, hell no.
Oh, hell no.
We actually do spoken word poetry for this section, and it switches up every time, but it keeps the same vibe.
Yes. Oh my God. The worst thing is when people like read the lyrics from a song just like with a straight face. It sounds so stupid.
Oh, hell no.
You need the whole thing behind it.
I just want to say thank you for everything. You started it.
Yeah.
So what is your guys's plan going forward with this EP? Because I know I read the AltPress interview that you guys did saying that you kind of had to get a little bit more creative with like the way that you're putting out content. What are some of those ways that you've done it, or you're going to continue to keep doing that to kind of like, you know, push more of your newer music coming out?
Well, the plan is to do a video for every single song on it. So that's like one way, which, I mean, that's not like a new thing, but I don't think we've ever done a video for every single song on a release. That's a lie. We did that for Miss.
But it was more of like a collective story.
It was like a collective project where all 3 videos ran together, but we're going to do a video for every song. And I mean, just trying to take advantage of all of the new platforms, newer, like we've been trying to dive into TikTok more and started setting up live streams. I know about everyone's doing that, but that's something we have not done yet. So that's something we're going to try to do around this EP. And then, what else have we done? I think we've done a lot more like social media content, which we probably should have been doing even not. But for us, that's something that we've really ramped up on, is like doing like the shortcut videos and pretty much just like taking advantage of social media more than we ever have before. I think that's it.
I feel like we kind of did a good job of that with Over the Moon. We did like all the live acoustic versions of the song. So we'll probably do that with this EP too, which might be a little bit more challenging since there's so much more instrumentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our manager was like, oh, you guys can do acoustic videos for that. And like initially we'd done it in the past. I was like, oh, hell yeah, let's do that. And then I got to thinking about it. I was like, how am I going to play any of those on an acoustic guitar? Other than maybe Choose to Live. The other ones, we have to get really creative, but that's something we will do. That's
something we actually love to do on for like the Mist EP and Wildfire. Something we've always really liked to do is take our songs and do our own like acoustic renditions of them. So like they kind of sound the same, but they also kind of sound like a completely different song.
Yeah.
Reimagined.
Yeah.
Yeah, reimagined. I was gonna say there's like a few acoustic songs I remember hearing back in the day that people were just like, oh, I'll just put out an acoustic version of this, and then it's like they had a breakdown in the songs. It's just like this like weird acoustic chugging, and you're like, that doesn't sound right. Yeah,
you're like, no, I need you to reimagine and revamp it.
Yeah,
if you
like give it the acoustic feel. Don't just do a breakdown on an acoustic guitar.
Strings clacking.
Yeah, it's like, I guess, but like I don't hate it, but I feel like it's two different vibes, right? You got to do the like full band vibe, and you got to do the acoustic vibe, and trying to combine those and do, you got to reimagine it.
Exactly.
Yeah. No chugs. No
chugs.
No chugs in the acoustic.
Just jangly strings. It's just not great.
Jangly strings. I don't know if I like the word jangly.
It sounds weird.
Jangle pop. It's like the 1975 gets called that. Pale Waves gets called that. It's like jangly guitar pop.
Jangly.
I don't like that.
I use that term all the time. Like if I'm talking about like a Stratocaster or like a Telecaster or guitar sound, I call it jangly. But yeah.
It just kind of sounds like dingly.
Yeah.
What does dingly even mean?
Or dangly.
Dangly, there you go.
Yeah.
It makes me think of weird things.
Is dingly a word?
I meant dangly. What was the other word I was thinking of? I combined two words.
Dingle and dangle.
Dingle and dangle.
It's
actually just Dinkelberg is what you're really thinking of.
Dinkelberg. I blamed Dinkelberg for something like a month ago, and Asia had no. Do you know what Dinkelberg is?
I don't think I want to. Usually when you joke about things, it's things I don't want to know about.
Like, is it Doug Dimmadome? The Dimsdale?
Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Fairly Odd Parents?
What did you just say?
Over to the Dimsdale Dimmadome. You got the flying hat?
I've never heard this.
Man,
it's a very iconic Nickelodeon show.
Oh, I've seen the show before. I just don't. That.
Yeah, Timmy's dad always blames their neighbor for everything. His name's Dinkelberg, so that's like anything goes wrong, it's Dinkelberg.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about Ace Ventura.
No.
Finkel.
Oh,
Finkel
is Einhorn.
That's
that whole sequence. That was so. I'm 100 years old.
Oh my god!
So that like the Fairly Odd Parents was like right at that cusp of when I'm like, I don't think I should be watching cartoons on Nickelodeon anymore as a child. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I'm no longer watching that. So like, I kind of get it, but I'm also like, I think that was right past that moment.
I'll always watch cartoons.
I love cartoons. Yeah.
I moved into anime. I'll put it that way.
Oh my God, Brian's just trying to be really subtle about his cartoons.
Yeah. Because I was like, oh, I'll admit anime to people randomly on a Zoom call and the internet. I'll be like, yeah, no, I just moved on to anime like an adult.
Right.
Whatever makes you feel better.
I love anime, but it's mostly just whatever was on Cartoon Network at Toonami time or whatever was on later, you know?
Yeah.
Like I had to move from Nickelodeon baby cartoons to adult cartoons on Cartoon Network.
I'm just all about baby cartoons, I guess.
Yeah, I was about to say I'd rather go back and watch that stuff. Like Jimmy Neutron, prime.
Yes.
Prime quality television entertainment.
I just restarted watching Recess not too long ago.
Oh my God.
Recess. That was good.
Yeah.
Did anybody watch 16? It was like that Canadian show that was on Cartoon Network.
No.
It was way too adult for like the demographic they were showing though.
Well, now I want to see it.
It was like, it got to the point, did you guys ever watch Life with Derek on Disney Channel? Because that was another Canadian show that got taken off because it started to be like, oh, it's stepbrother, stepsister. And then they started like dating. And then Disney said, no, we're not doing that. This is not wholesome American content.
That sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not sure.
What was the one with the twins? The Sweet Life of
Zach and Cody.
Oh, yeah. I think who is it? They're Dylan and Cole Sprouse. I think Dylan Sprouse wrote a whole ass like comic book. And I think it's like League of Legends or like World of Warcraft type vibe too. If I am not wrong, I might be wrong, but I swear I saw it somewhere on Twitter.
Interesting.
I don't think I'm coming back around. I never watched Disney Channel. I'll be honest with you. I know. I missed out on all of it.
What?
I did when I went over to a friend's house, but when I was a kid, we didn't have like cable. So I think like the only cartoons that were on our TV was Goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other one? I like rushed home to watch these. Goosebumps and Zoom, which isn't a cartoon.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Neither of those are cartoons.
Huh?
Neither of those are cartoons.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, well, PBS had they had Cyber Chase, which was a weird cartoon thing.
Uh-huh.
And then they had later on, they had like the like real life people game show, but it was like a cartoon dog who hosted it. It was called Fetch with Ruff Ruffman. It was very niche. This is very niche.
What?
All right.
Ruff Ruffman.
Yeah, his name was Mr. Ruff Ruffman. They did it here in the city too of Chicago. They sent all these random children to say, go run out and just scavenger hunt. Have fun.
What?
Ruff Ruffman, that's a name.
Yeah.
It is a name.
That sounds like someone who would like try to sell you a car or like an extension. Hey, Ruff Ruffman here.
God.
73 Chevy box.
Box? Do you want the box car? Do you want the box cars with the dancing hamsters in it? I can give that to you for a price.
For a small fee.
All of this sounds like it's a cartoon. All of it. All it sounds like a show that happened after.
Listen, we can package it up and we can pitch it. That's what we're saying now, Brian.
Nothing is real. Everything's a simulation.
Yeah. 30 years ago when I was only 45, I don't remember seeing this.
I've been trying to remember this other cartoon though, because I'm still on cartoons, but I can only remember the intro.
What's the intro?
Sing it. Let's go.
Hey, DW. And she's like, what? Is it Arthur?
I think that's Arthur because DW is the name of the younger sister.
Yeah.
Yes, Arthur.
My brother watched Arthur, but I don't really remember it that much.
I think
neither.
it's still like on.
Oh, yeah.
It is odd, but there's always some kind of like science thing to it, which I love.
They're like, never mind, guys. We're just going to take a quick pause from the animals walking around and talking. Here's some logic science.
Exactly.
Just remember, one day we will all be invited to the gay rat wedding like we're all supposed to be.
So true.
I used to watch other shows. That's fine. I'm just like, oh, I'm just too old. It's just very obvious when I'm just like, yeah, I got nothing. Like I never watched any of these things because I was just like, I don't know, kind of wasn't on when I was a child, I guess.
Yeah, I came home from school and watched I Love Lucy as it was airing.
You never,
What was that?
never watched Goosebumps?
I watched Goosebumps. I watched Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark? Those are both on.
That's prime time.
Yeah.
That's good.
This one's a little bit older, but what about Tales from the Crypt?
I never watched Tales from the Crypt. I was too scared.
Am I the only one?
I watched it. It was always like the reruns are always on. I don't remember what channel, but yeah, my brother and I love to watch that.
Yeah.
My
I
parents watch that.
feel like I had a very specific television diet of getting home, watching Power Rangers, and then it was getting home watching Dragon Ball Z.
Nice.
So the same show, just over and over again. It's the same idea.
Oh my gosh.
How did you start talking about this?
Oh, we don't know. We don't
It's
know.
just how it goes. It just rolls like this.
We're a nostalgia podcast. It starts with music and it ends up being about cartoons, and somehow it all connects.
And it's up at Power Rangers.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a way that like Tales from the Crypt somehow influenced the music that you've made now. Somehow.
Yeah, like unconsciously, it just does.
Yeah.
Probably.
We're not gonna try to do like a red yarn billboard thing, but I'm sure it's there.
You're probably right, though. We've always loved like that creepy sound.
Yeah.
That like creepy. How would you explain it?
Little do you know, we actually have tracks of the Crypt Keeper turned way down.
Samples in the background.
If you just like lay down and just like zone out and you're like in an isolation chamber only playing New Ashland, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Very,
you
very
have to-
faintly.
You have to get 2 pieces of banana Laffy Taffy and shove one in your right ear and then one up your left nostril. And you lay down at a 45-degree angle and then listen to it, you'll hear it. Exact science here.
I feel like that's a waste
sounds
of
legit.
the greatest flavor of Laffy Taffy, but I'll allow it.
That's a really bad take, Brian.
That's
I'm
the
so
best
sorry.
take. What are you talking about? All right.
I mean, it's not the worst flavor, but it's not the best. I don't know, man.
Yeah, cherry all the way.
What is
Yes.
happening? What is
Maybe
happening?
it's really basic that we like cherry, though. I think that's like a really stereotypical favorite flavor, but it's so good.
It's so good. It's classic. I would say people who like strawberry are the ones who are like, this is just everywhere, so I have to like it. I hate strawberry flavored anything.
I was more into Jolly Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers do hit.
Yes.
I just don't like getting candy stuck in my teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. I just like all candy though, but
I don't know, Mr. Banana. You just
all right. Banana flavor is great. Banana runts are great. That's it. That's the only banana flavors I can think of.
I was about to say, what else is banana flavor?
That's all I got. You know why? Because those are the 2 best, and they're like, we don't need to do anymore. This fruit flavor is done. We accomplished top of the line bananas across the board.
I think the only fruit flavor that is nasty is grape. Because they have so many like grape flavored medicines.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
it's like medicine to me.
Yeah. That's very fair.
Yeah.
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 All
Fuck
right,
grape.
it's common ground.
Okay.
Now we're good.
There we go, guys.
Fuck
We've
grape.
evened out.
We hate grape in the chat.
Yeah.
F for grape in the
drop
chat.
G for a grape hate in the chat.
Grape hate.
All my homies hate grape.
I'm waiting for a really big grape enthusiast to come in the
I
chat
know.
and just be real mad.
So mad.
Hey, I love grapes, just not grapes.
Yeah. Grape candy.
Yeah.
Yeah. For all the grape haters out there. Just the
Like,
grape
if the-
candy.
If the grape duck song came on and he asked me if I have any grapes, I'd give it to him because I know he likes it. It'd be okay.
We should talk about music more.
Oh.
But
We can do that. We can do that. Or we could talk about grapes.
someone's
Yeah.
like, You guys talked about candy for a long time.
There's a lot of candy out there,
A
though.
lot of candy to talk about. Big industry, you know?
Now I really want candy.
Yeah. I'm like, I got a banana Laffy Taffy out there calling my name. I got a pun written on the wrapper I got to read and go, ugh.
Oh, God.
Some dumb
And go,
6-year-old wrote this. Stupid kids writing jokes.
Brian, you can just write your own and send it in.
They won't.
And you can lie about your age. They can think you're like the most brilliant 6-year-old.
Hi, I'm Spooky Pants 1. Here's my joke.
Hi, I'm Jerry from Nebraska. Here's my joke.
Here's my joke.
So bad.
The Willie Nelson face and the camera just looks like a floating head underneath.
Yeah.
It does kind of, but it's also like the exact energy.
I love it.
Like,
It's so good.
It just fits with the theme,
Yeah.
the vibe.
It was going to be an immediate compliment. I'm just like, oh, damn, that's a good shirt. And then I was like, let's just, let's say it on the pod. Let's talk about it on this audio medium with a visual reference. Anyway, Lizzie, do you have a question about music? We should talk about music.
Oh, my God.
Do you have a question about Willie Nelson?
Now, what the hell?
Oh, my God.
How did Willie Nelson influence the newest Ashland songs?
Well, you see, marijuana.
There we go.
All right.
There we go.
That's not an unrealistic answer for the
Yeah.
question.
No, I love Willie Nelson. We got to see him a couple of years ago. It was like one of the greatest nights of my life.
Yup.
Should
I feel like the
oh.
music t-shirts you have are like old countrymen.
Old countrymen.
I have a Dolly Parton one. I have
Okay, an old country one.
a Shania Twain one.
Oh, my God.
That's legit.
What? You have a Shania Twain t-shirt?
Yeah,
I've never seen that.
it's in there. Maybe it's at my parents' still. I don't know, but
I'm stealing that.
no.
Yeah.
No.
We're all stealing that.
Yeah, it's going to be we're going to sign up on a calendar and we'll just rotate.
Yeah, we're trading that around.
All right.
He's got the craziest vintage like band t-shirts and it's awesome.
Yeah. That sounds I would
Yeah.
unironically wear that.
Now, are you getting these vintage shirts from like Depop or are you just like able to find them places?
Well, a lot of them aren't actually vintage, but the ones I have, either one of my parents had them and they fit me, so I took them.
Fair.
Fair.
They all came from like actual concerts
Yeah.
for those people.
Those
not,
are.
not from like the Walmart.
Okay.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with Walmart clothes.
Oh, dude, no, I get
They
Walmart
hit.
t-shirts all the time.
I was about to say, I didn't know Walmart suddenly had a bunch of country icons on their shirts. That was going to be my question. Like, what?
They absolutely probably do.
They probably do. Yeah.
It's more like space cats and like weird old cars now on their t-shirts.
Okay.
I might need to go
The
to
Space
Walmart.
Cats kind of remind me of like Tumblr era, like the Galaxy print, and I don't want to go back down to those
Exactly
deep,
what I'm
deep, dark holes of my life.
Is
Yep.
Walmart Tumblr?
R.I.P. Tumblr.
RIP. Now being sold at Walmart. Isn't it still? It's still around, right? Like you can still go on Tumblr. It still exists.
Yeah, it is.
It's just that no one uses it anymore. I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
well, maybe
Some people do.
maybe people do, but I just since I don't use it, it's dead to me. So it's R.I.P. It doesn't-
Yeah.
Fair. You're dead to me.
You're not going to get the same quality content that you got in like 2014, 2012 as
Yeah.
you are in 2021 on Tumblr.
No.
I just won't even talk about my Tumblr experience because
Yeah. You probably should.
I was real far into that.
Were you Tumblr famous too?
Two.
I wouldn't say I was Tumblr famous, but I was really into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used it like once. I was like, okay.
I just remember that like I would give access to like one of my friends when I had a busy week with school and like work, and I'd be like, hey, I have everything like preset scheduled to post on certain days, and like I curated the whole fucking thing because I had a lot of followers and like people and like my weird fandom community, and then I like just got off of it. I don't even remember what happened. I said, no, this is not happening.
Yeah. Same. I kind of just like deleted everything.
That's usually like a good way to go. Like if you
That's
were
a good way to go.
if you were heavy into something as a teenager, it's good to probably just like delete all of it because you look at it a few years later and you're like, oh
Yeah.
That's what happened. I saw a couple posts and I was just like, what were you thinking?
it's like, girl, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like I said, we get into whatever. We'll talk about whatever, but I'm also like, well, I always feel like, because it's like we have bands on and we have, you know, it's like you have a release and it's like, all right, EP, cool. AltPress, great. Awesome. What is your favorite flavor of nerd candy? Like, let's get to the fucking nitty gritty here, okay? Let's get to know you as people.
Nobody else is going to ask you this in an interview.
Are you going strawberry? Are you going, what is another flavor that isn't grape or banana?
Lemonade? Lemonade?
Or rope.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
Yeah.
The sour cherry nerds rope.
Yes.
Ooh.
Somehow in trying to move off of the topic, we moved deeper onto the topic.
Now somebody who's like way too deep into like analyzing this is going to listen and say, all right, these are the type of people everybody on this podcast right now is like. And it's going to be like, all right.
Take the
The
quiz.
nerds told.
What's your favorite nerd candy?
Now on BuzzFeed, we can tell you exactly how old you're going to live or how long you're going to live by your favorite nerd flavor.
Actually, podcasts are just the new BuzzFeed quizzes. Fun fact.
Into it.
So this one specifically for Asia. So I saw a few articles that you guys have like been interviewed for or just been featured in over the last handful of years. And there's a lot of comparisons more toward from you guys being more similar to Icon for Hire, Paris, and Against the Current, rather than the traditional like, oh my God, like you just sound like Paramore, for the obvious reason being that, you know, you are a female individual. How has that continued, and how is that something that like kind of makes you feel in this realm?
I feel like every musician feels this way, but that's like one of the hardest questions for us because I feel like musicians try so hard to like come up with their own sound and kind of like not be their own inspiration, but you know, just create something original, which is pretty much impossible. But I mean, there's always going to be those comparisons. It's just a part of it. I mean, for people who aren't musicians, when they hear music, they instantly are going to compare it to something else that they like. And I mean, all those bands you just named are amazing. So to be compared to them is a compliment.
Yeah, I actually have I mean, that was like your question, but I have something to add to that. I've just noticed like over the time of us being in a band, it used to be where someone would be like, oh, you guys sound like Paramore, you guys sound like Paris. We would be like, no, we don't. And this is why we don't. And have like our PowerPoint slide. We don't sound like this. And then as time's gone on, we realize that, yeah, people just associate things with what they like. So now if someone's like, hey, you guys sound like Paramore, we're like, oh yeah, thanks. And kind of just like let it go because you know, it's just what people do. They hear something and they compare it. And it's a compliment because all those bands are incredible. Yeah. It's just funny watching that like progress as we used to be like so like offended by getting compared.
I never got offended. I always thought it was like funny, but I mean, I've always respected those artists, and to be compared to people who like have that much success and, you know, are so good at what they do has always been a compliment to me. I hope someday somebody will compare another band to us.
Right.
Oh, we sound like Ashland.
Yes. I was also going to say you sound like Versa Emerge.
We've heard that before.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, I do
was
too.
a big fan.
Severely underrated band.
Their full length was criminally underrated. I even someone just did a podcast about that recently and was kind of talking shit about it. And I was just like, no, that record's masterpiece.
Yeah.
Stop.
Aaron's writing an Apple Music feedback. You're like, you know what? It was great until you started ripping on one of the best underrated albums ever, and I have a problem.
Let me write this full-fledged blog entry. Dear podcasters.
Someone just texted me and was like, I missed the stream. I'm like, no, you didn't. It's happening.
No, it's happening right now, dude.
Hi. Still here.
But I think that you guys thinking that way is a lot different than how I think a lot of the rhetoric has been on having female fronted or just, bands that have women or non-men in them. And I think it's kind of good to kind of restructure and reframe it in that kind of mindset to say this is a compliment. And hopefully most people mean it as a compliment and not just saying this band's just another Paramore, because not every band is going to be like that. So I think that that's a really good way to kind of look at things comparatively.
I feel like you have to have a lot of confidence in who you are and what you do to kind of feel. I wouldn't call myself an overly confident person, but I know that I love music and that I'm passionate about it. And I know when I write, I'm not okay, I need to sound like this person, or I need to write a song that sounds like this. I just do me. And, if somebody draws a comparison to that, great. I mean, cool.
Yeah, I think if you do read too much into that, you'll just drive yourself crazy because like she said, everyone compares everything to something else. And, you get that 10 times a night, oh, you guys sound like this and this and this. And I think we've just learned to take it as a compliment instead of getting worked up, because if you will drive yourself crazy because you hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm. It's always weird that people will it's such this thing to put in your bio, right? For fans of, or when sending out something for fans of, but then it's you get compared to something and then it's but we're not like that. It's but at a certain point, you have to explain the music to somebody without actually just playing it for them. And so it's going to have to give them a reference to something they might know. But then it kind of sucks when that's the only way that they can consider your band's sound is oh, you sound like this, you sound like this.
Yeah. And like Lizzie was talking about, it's definitely a little more challenging as a female fronted band because when they're all right, you need to pick out three, 4 bands to put in your bio that you sound like or something. We're like, what? And, it's just automatic. You have to pick out other female bands because,
yeah.
And there's only a handful that are super well known, which is the whole point of picking out bands that you sound like. So it's all of us female bands are all lumped in the same category.
Yeah.
But also, our cat just went somewhere she's not supposed to be.
How did she get there?
She's going to figure it out. She's a kitten.
She wants to get the shirts. She wants the country music shirts.
Heard there was
That's all she wants.
I guess just leave her in there if she won't come out. I bet if you just leave that door open, she'll get curious out here and come out.
Hopefully that's the case.
Kittens are the best and also the worst at the same time.
The worst.
How old is she?
5
months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's just learning the space, I assume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been funny though because she is used to being able to fit under things that she can't fit under anymore because she's growing. So she runs into things a lot or things.
It is this incredible thing. I mean, obviously, animals are awesome. I was about to say animals are dope, and I'm like, that sounded really stupid, but I'm also it sounded kind of funny to say animals are dope.
Big, dude.
Animals are fucking sick, bro. You ever see an animal hit a sick ollie?
Have you ever had an animal in your house that fucking hits, bro?
This cat's vibes are legit. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Okay, Brian, that was chaotic.
So obviously animals are cool and like having an animal is great, but like because of internet culture and everybody being stuck inside, like the true hero of anyone's social media right now is their pet, and showing an animal on your social media is like top tier shit. And I'm like, do I need a pet?
So many regrets though.
Yeah.
How many people are regretting this?
Yeah. Like if I had a cat on the couch over here, again, a visual reference on an audio medium. If I had a cat like there, or I have a dog just like sleeping, like more people would be watching this stream, I feel.
Oh yeah, and it'd be all comments about the cat.
Oh, all of them, yeah.
Oh
Yeah, they'd be like, Brian, we don't care about you. Actually move,
Yeah.
leave the room, and let's just watch. It's just a cat cam now.
More cat. It's just this like, I mean, having the animal, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like I like seeing somebody else raising an animal because I don't personally want to raise it, you know? So like the idea that you have a cat running around, I'm like, that's awesome. But for you, it's like, this is torture.
Yeah, it's crazy because obviously she's only 5 months. So we got her like during the pandemic. And the whole reason was because I wanted a pet. I wanted something to love on and to cuddle with me and, you know, keep company around the house when it's lonely all day. And I've never been attacked so much in my entire life on a daily basis. My legs have never looked worse. But she's sweet at times.
Yeah.
So I don't regret it completely.
Oh, she's in the other room and can't hear you now.
Oh, she can hear it.
I don't even.
You're gonna get up and grab her, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, really?" Now and she has her little baby claws out. She's like, "Really? What'd you say?"
Do we have anything else to mention about the topic we were on about female fronted bands? Or I realized we were like stepping away from that conversation, but I did think it was like a good chat. It was a good conversation to have.
It was.
I don't have anything else to say about that.
I was actually surprised you mentioned that people told you to put it in your bio. Like I thought
that was something that was surprising.
I always thought bands just kind of like copy each other, you know? Like I see somebody else do it, so I'm going to do it in my band too. But I never realized it was like this thing of like they actually want you to do that.
Yeah. I was it for the band bio or was it for like some like a?
I think any like press release you have to do the for fans of thing, and that's like the hardest question because like she said, there's like a handful of like well-known bands with females in them, and so all of us are like picking the same exact bands.
I mean, technically, there are actually a ton of female-fronted bands that are out there that are amazing, but the only ones that like normally get compared to each other, there's like a handful of them.
Yeah.
You know.
Really, the wild thing you could have done is just had one of these bands that has a female fronted, like, wow, words are hard today. That is female fronted, and then have it like two other ones that are just like just all dudes or whatever, completely not that related. But you're like, let's go, guys.
Slipknot.
Yeah, Slipknot in there.
What you got?
Why don't we do that?
You have Paris. You got Slipknot.
Yes.
Like it could be just
Someone's
a combination.
gonna reply back, be like, "Can I listen to this? I don't understand."
Paris, Slipknot, Alan Jackson.
Yeah. What if? But there's somebody who is a fan of all three of those bands and will be a fan of you. So it's not wrong. It's just not specific.
It's not wrong. It's just not right.
It's just completely incorrect. Then I do want to ask too about like AltPress hosting your EP today and having it up available. How did that come about? How did like you hook up with AltPress to get it up on their site today?
We've just been really lucky to have like a good relationship with them, to where they've done a lot of things like that for us where we're just really appreciative of it. And I can't really tell you that there's like one factor that's made that happen. We've had some good publicists and they've always been good to us and we're really grateful for that. But as for how, it's just
It's
I know.
it's so funny to hear him talking about it so casually. I remember, what was it, 2017 or 18 that we got our first AltPress.
Oh
feature.
yeah, when we got our first AltPress feature, we freaked out.
I was like, got to go to Hot Topic. You've got to film me going in and like magazine and finding the page, and I think that's still on one of our profiles. But it was like a moment, and like, I still feel that anytime, like, because I've always read AltPress, like it's AltPress, and it's like, you know, all the bands that we love, and to, I don't know, to have them feature us just like feels cool. And every single time I'm just like, yes.
I, like, for all the like flack that AltPress has gotten over the last few years, it's just like inevitable that anytime that your band or project or whatever gets into that magazine, because it's been around for so long and it still has like a fairly good like rock music footprint, that you're just going to be freaking psyched for it.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, the press landscape has changed so much in the rock scene. Like, still, it's like you said, when you get an AP, anything in there, it's like you're still internally like, yes.
Yeah, the first feature was like, I can't remember what the article is. It's like
bands you should know, or
bands
something.
You should know, and like we turn the page and it's like this little tiny picture of us with like a little description of the band, and it was just like so freaking cool. And then like the next time we got in there is like a full like 2-page spread or something.
That was Rock Sound.
Oh, Rock Sound. Never mind.
Still pretty sick though.
Still legit.
I remember. Sorry that I'm stealing this one.
I think it was like a full article on the website or something. I don't know.
When we got a Rock Sound feature, it was a printed one, and I think it was like a 2-page spread, and I was like stoked. We had the copies sent to us, and I went over. I was like going to my parents, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna show them because I'm stoked, and like I showed it to my dad, who he's like supportive, but like doesn't really know anything about my band or like music. Like throwing this, and then like I'm like, oh wait, this is. He's like, oh, what magazine is that? I flipped it to the cover, and it was like one where Youngblood was on the cover. Yeah. With like, and I forget what he was wearing. It was like something wild, and I like showed my dad, and I'm like, oh, this is.
Like, I didn't think this through.
This is really awkward, actually. Because he's like the most like Midwest farmer guy who doesn't know, is not like hip to that at all, and I'm just like, oh,
he's just like nice.
This is super awkward.
Still supportive though. I mean,
oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
my parents were great, but it was just like me being so like blindly excited that in the moment I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of weird.
My mom's like the total opposite. She's like our biggest like fan groupie, like every little thing she has to share, and it's like the biggest thing in the world. It's super cute. Shout out, Mom, if you're watching this, but you're probably not because you don't know how to use a phone.
Shout out, Mom.
She gets on Facebook. She's like, "How do I do the share?" And then you're like, "It's right there." And you're like, "Let's go."
Like, social media platform I've seen her like try to learn. She's just like, oh, Instagram, I hate this. And it's like, you just don't know how to use it.
It doesn't work. And I'm like, Mom, it works for everybody else in the world. It's gonna work.
There's just a lot of pictures. It's okay.
Yeah.
Every time. I'm like, Mom, I'm not your tech support. And she's like, no, I'm not asking you a question. But like, also like, this has been weird, but I don't want you to fix it. I'm just saying, like, it's been weird. And then just like slides the phone slightly over to like take a look at it.
Casually,
I'm
like, hey, actually.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you turned something off. I don't know. Have a great time. She's luckily not on social media. So I'm like, good. I don't have to worry about any of this.
Yep.
She hates my podcast, so I'm not showing this to her.
Oh, okay.
That's not true. I think she did ask recently, like, what's it, emo something?
The thing? What are you doing, son?
Yeah.
What are you doing with your life?
What is emo?
I'm in this magazine. It's fine.
Just
What-
here,
yeah.
I framed it for you. You could put it up. Don't worry about it. Just look at that nice, pretty page.
So here's us questioning you, because
Oh.
boy.
I'm
curious about this because you bring that up. So, having a podcast, do you have anything like over holidays or anything where you, like us in a band, we get the like family that knows nothing about our band? It's like, so how's the band thing going? You guys in the garage? Like, so what's it like having a podcast? Are there any like questions like that where you're just like, oh my God, please do not ask me about this?
I used to be in a band, so I feel like they already had that experience of like, you're just some shitty musician, like nothing ever happened there. Yeah. Oh, you're doing another project. Cool. When are you getting a real job? And it's like pandemic.
Yeah.
But no. I think because like it's the podcast and it's like this Twitch stream and it's so many other things that it's like, nah, it's just so much stuff and just like I can't follow it. I don't know what's going on with you. So it's kind of like, hope you're happy.
You're lucky because when we have family get-togethers, anytime, it's like my mom has to pull up our music and
start playing it while you're writing.
You're just like, bye.
Like, why can't you do this in your own time?
Yeah.
Like, why can't you guys like FaceTime each other and be like, listen, and then I'm not even there. I'm not in the room. We don't have to worry about anything.
Lizzie, your dad comes to our streams sometimes.
Yeah,
so
my dad, I live at home, first of all, with my family. So it's not really a big thing. They're like really supportive of it. But sometimes it'd be like, all right, let's watch your old streams and like, let me give you critiques and pointers on how you can be better. And I'm like,
the critiques and pointers of like, oh, you guys should do this. My friend, like Ricky from 19 years ago was at the college radio station in the 70s. He could definitely hook you up. Could you guys learn like 14 AC/DC covers?
14 AC/DC.
Oh, no, that's not how it works, but thank you.
Like, so it's just like that. And then my extended family, I have them on Facebook and I post enough that they're just like, she's just being weird. They finally got over the whole like I like skulls thing because they were like, that's a little like inappropriate. And I was like, it's fine. We're fine. It's been a while. Just get over it.
That used to be somebody's head.
That's fine. I mean, like, listen, I got this decapitated arm. Like, what do you want?
Oh my gosh. Chris Crump has like the same one.
It's a little too close to you. Like being able to reach over your camera and immediately pick up a severed hand is
It's
maybe
a prized possession. It's signed by Chuck Palin.
I love that.
Listen, I went to his book signing and what he did was he had a bunch of other body parts that were like these signed and he just yeeted them into the audience. He
That's
said,
amazing.
you get an arm, you get a foot, you get a forearm. I was like,
And now
let's
you're like-
go.
And now you're just like, I'm keeping it within 3 feet of me at all times.
It's right here. It's accompanied by the skull that it usually sits on.
Nice.
Oh,
This is stuff I like to decorate our house with. I've got a
See?
skull, a mannequin head. I've got some rubber cockroaches.
Yeah. The rubber cockroaches are always pleasant.
They all have names.
So how many times have you been scared by these rubber cockroaches, Aaron, is the real question.
He's probably legitimately got me with him twice, but she's probably attempted to get me with him probably like 30 or 40 times. I think the first time I didn't know she had him. Like the first couple times she did it, I was like, oh, God.
Yeah. Good. The one or two times seem like, it's worth trying 30 or 40 times.
Yeah.
The best spots are sinks
Mhm.
and dinner plates.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dinner plates is what.
Like you pick up the one on top and there's one underneath it.
Yeah.
Or just like right on the plate next to their food.
Ooh. Ooh.
Now, have you tried to hide it within the food? Like you clean it before, and then you're like, here's a ravioli, and then here's a cockroach, and here's another ravioli.
I wouldn't be that mean to my mom.
Okay.
On her plate one time, and that really got her. So I can't imagine what would have happened to her if I had like put it in her food.
I would probably burn my own house down.
Oh my God.
That would like scar me.
Gotta throw the whole house out.
I used to have this like irrational fear that there was like insects in my food when I was a kid. So like if I were to ever, I don't know, I watched too much Goosebumps.
That's really weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's super weird. So like now, if that were to happen to me, it would totally trigger that, and I would like freak out.
I guess it's weird that I try to scare people with rubber cockroaches too. So
No.
It's not that weird.
It's just one of those girly things, you know. It's fine.
Just girly things.
Just girly things.
Well, we're at basically an hour. So we want to be sure before we wrap up the podcast here, we get all your plugs. We find out where everybody can go to check out the music, check out the EP, check out the video, all that stuff. And then we will keep talking for a bit over on Twitch. So yeah, where can people listen to the new EP and all the good stuff?
Do you want this or you want me to do it?
you're really good at plugs, so.
Yeah, you can hear our brand new self-titled EP on any of your favorite streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, probably all the other ones that I don't even know. But if you use it, it's there. All of our socials are at Ashland Official. And yeah, I think that, yeah, she says I'm good at plugs. I'm totally just
No.
We have, depending on when this came out, you said probably Monday. So a few days ago, we would have put out the video for In Your Head on YouTube. You can watch that and the video for Misery. There we go. That's all the plugs.
Yeah.
There they
That
are.
was awful, but you know what?
I mean,
It's all there.
You got the point
The
across.
content's there.
Yeah.
The content.
Everything that had to get out got out.
Yeah. Well, sick. As we tell everybody all the time, like go run those songs up, go run those numbers up, go follow, go watch the video. Just get those numbers up there, put it on while you're falling asleep, and just let it run all night.
Yes, please. Please
just
do.
repeat it.
Done that. It's a joke.
I mean, don't
Oh no.
don't do that. Do it, but don't.
Mm.
The music is legitimately good. I do think that people
Yeah, it
will probably
is.
just go listen to it over and over again anyway. I really dug it. I watched the video for Misery and I was like, this is the actual vibe. So yeah, we
Oh,
want
yeah.
everyone to do it. Sweet. Well, we'll end the recording there. We'll continue to hang out over on Twitch, but yeah, thank you for being here, Asian Aaron,
Thanks, guys.
Ashland Official.
Thank you for having us. This isn't the typical, we had the best time. You guys are the best. Like, this is seriously probably the most fun we've had in a long time. Something like this. I'm being 100% honest.
Never
Because
been
we
able
talked
to
about candy.
candy.
Cartoons, candy, like
Yeah.